Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Addicted to Gear Live Sunday show. How's everybody doing today? All right. Show 240 today. So we're going to be on for about an hour as we normally do. And we're going to talk about a lot of interesting things today, specifically NAMM, all the cool products that are coming up and all that good stuff. Can you hear me okay? I think maybe the sound is just a little bit too low, so I'm going to get a little closer to the microphone. If you can't hear me properly, please let me know, okay? I'll try to make some adjustments. So let's see who's here today. As per usual, we have a good group of people that get up bright and early every Sunday, just like clockwork, and we do appreciate you guys. As I mentioned, show 240 today. So we've been doing this for quite a while. For those of you that are new, you know the drill. You got to subscribe to be able to chat. If you're not already subscribed, you should be ashamed of yourself, and you should do that right away and repent. We always have a good time here talking about gear, guitars, and other things. We get sidelined sometimes with other topics that pop up, but we try and stick to the main subject matter as much as possible. So let me know who here has jumped or fallen off the bandwagon this week and perhaps, just purchased new gear. Have any of you, you can actually just come clean. We're not going to judge. We're not going to judge at all. Actually, we encourage here on Addicted to Gear. But you should let us know so we can at least live vicariously through your purchases and let us know what interesting gear you're looking at. Let's say hi to the guys that are here today. Jack, good morning. How's it going, my friend? Everything cool on your end? He says he's playing his Eclipse 256 Cobalt Blue. Very nice. That's a good way to start the weekend, or at least the Sunday. Ken is here as well. Hey Ken, what's up? Nella, morning Nella, how are you? Ian's Guitar Shack says rock on. Cushman, hello peoples. Wayne, hey, Wayne is saying hey there dogs, what's happening? Searching for tone. MFN. NFM says good morning Tony and all. I'm in warm Anaheim today, but head back to chilly Idaho tonight. Missing NAMM by a couple of days, maybe next year. Mark says good morning. He says it was up till 2 a.m. Wired after my Washington Commanders won last night. Yeah, a lot of people are into the football right now. I guess you are too, Mark. That's cool. It's always fun. Yeah, it's hard to go back to sleep after that. I'm glad you're enjoying it though. Don't bet too much money, or don't lose too much money, or win too much money, depending on which side of the coin you end up being on. So Profile Production is here. Vinny's World is here. Says see you in 30 minutes. Ian's Guitar Shack, searching for tone. We mentioned Dan again. Paul's here as well. Dan of New Jersey. All right, we have a good group of people here. William is here as well. Stephen is here. Marcel. Usual group. Couple of new people here. Kodiak Edge Bladesmithing. Seems to be like a new name I haven't seen here before, so welcome. Don't be shy to join in on the chat. Time Surfing Alien. All right. If you guys have any questions for me, just please put a question mark before your question so I know that it's for me and I can pick it out of the list of questions here easily. Shane is here. He says some dude on Japan Yahoo auctions is dumping his expensive lefty collection for dirt cheap. Already bought another V. Shane, wasn't it just maybe a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago that you said that you were kind of in the doghouse for buying too much gear? I guess things got resolved. Well, congratulations on that V. I think Shane is on a V bender, I think, right now. He's into the Vs, which is cool. So what type of V was it this time, Shane? It's not easy to find left-handed guitars, so I understand if you've hit the mother lode and somebody's dumping them for relatively little money, now's the time to grab them. Now tell me, Shane, when you buy another V, are you getting rid of the other V, or are you just keeping everything? Vinny's World says he bought a pickguard and some parts for modding a guitar. Does that count? Yeah, it counts. Counts in my book. Steven says new tools. And he spent money. So what did you get, Steven? What kind of tools? Let us know. Searching for Tone says guilty as charged. You're all coming clean. I like that. The first step towards, your addiction is to admit that there's a problem. So I think we already know that. Good morning, Martin. He says, listening to you while making a giant batch of spaghetti sauce. Hey, what time should I be there? I'll bring the wine. Nella says he bought another Hercules 5 guitar rack. I was thinking about doing the same, Nella. I'm running out of space on mine. I got them doubled up behind me and I have no more room to I got these guitars in cases here now instead of putting them on the racks. I have no more space. So if I come across one for a decent price, I might end up getting another one eventually, but for now I'm making do. Rico says good morning from sunny Arizona. And William says I bought a Moore GL100 looper pedal and a Splon 412 cabinet. How are those cabinets? I know the Splon amps are really, really good. And I don't come across them that often on the used market, which means a lot of people, I think, generally like them a lot. But I've never really tried or played through a 412 Splon cabinet. What's it loaded with? What kind of speakers? So Sean, wait a minute. I'm just gonna scroll back here a minute. All right. Shane says that his he's an ESP Edwards V for 250 USD. That's a pretty good deal. I know you like the ESPs. Very cool. I'd like to see a photo of that. Maybe you can send that to me later on social media or something. Take a look at what it looks like. Congratulations on that one. I guess it must be a little different than the other one if you're buying it, right? Otherwise, you'd just be doubling up on same type of guitars. It doesn't really make sense. Rico says, Tony, UPS finally found and delivered my used Friedman JJ Jr. combo. Love it. Have you played the JJ Jr.? First of all, congratulations. That amplifier is really great. A lot of people that have purchased that type of amp have always raved about it. I think Friedman, you can't go wrong with Friedman amps. You're always buying quality stuff. And I haven't played the Junior. I don't see them that often here. Like live, like in person. There's not a lot of guitar shops that carry Friedman stuff. You have to kind of order directly from them or order online. So you don't really have the opportunity to try them. But all the videos that I've watched on the Friedman JJ seem killer. How do you, I know you've played it quite a while probably since you've gotten it. So where does it fit in terms of tonality, Rico, in your opinion? I know it's always doing the Marshall thing, but is it more like, in your opinion, does it fit more towards, let's say, the JCM 800 or a modded Marshall? What's your take on it when you hear it live and play it through your own rig? I'm curious to know. Share with the group. Ken says, I bought a Taylor GS Mini Acoustic with mahogany top and a Sur T7 FM in natural finish. I just went in for strings. That was an expensive day for you, dude. Let me think. Ken, I'm gonna say that day cost you probably $4,000. Am I close to the number, the magic number, Ken? Let me know. And that's US. Good morning, Nanai. Good morning. Ken says, Sear. So everybody's been pretty busy buying stuff, huh? Wow. All right. So Kodiak admits he's a newbie, so welcome Kodiak. You know how it works. Don't be shy. Jump right into the chat. Share with the group. That's what it's all about. We do this every Sunday as much as possible. So Kevin says, hey Tony, just bought the Sonic Cake Pocket Master modeler. I think it's pretty new and looks like a lot of fun for 65 bucks. I haven't really looked at that all that much, but for 65 bucks, that's pretty interesting. How do you like it? Give us some feedback. Let us know. Is that the first modeler you're buying, or you've had others before? Since it's only 65 bucks, sometimes, you know, it's a good place to start, and then the addiction takes over and goes from there. So Shane admits that he's incredibly in the doghouse. Okay, well, you know, I'm sure eventually things will subdue, but in the meantime, it gives you lots of time to practice if you're getting the silent treatment, which is not always a bad thing. I'm only joking. If Shane's wife is listening, I'm only joking, Shane's wife. Put down the rolling pin. Shane says it was an ESP Edwards King V-Type. All right, cool. Very nice. Kodiak just made pizza dough, so everybody's cooking. Is that what's going on early Sunday morning? You guys are watching the show and cooking. We have somebody making pizza dough, somebody else making pasta or sauce, and okay, all right, that's cool. It's a good mix, guitars and food. Maybe I should change my channel to that and just do playing guitars and food. We can do like a cooking show. That could be different. So Shane's really wanting to get divorced. He says also bidding on a Lefty Ibanez 777 Gem, RJ 550, 1979 Greco Les Paul, and an ESP Flying V. So, all right, Shane. I guess you're being passive aggressive. All right, well, let's see what happens with Shane, everybody. Let's see if Shane's going to be single next week. Hopefully not. Place your bets. So Searching for Tone says, oh yeah, I bought the Hercules guitar rack. Stupid deal of the day, and a kickstand mic so I can mic up my Princeton. Yeah, miking up a Princeton is always a good thing if you're doing any kind of recording. You kind of have to do that if you don't have an aux box or something else. So very cool. Yeah, those Hercules stands are quite popular, and I think they're really good. They're made extremely solid, so you don't have to worry about your guitars if you put them on there. So Nella says, keep an eye on MF for a stupid deal of the day. They offer that Hercules stand often for about 70 bucks USD. That's when I grab them. Yeah, but if I have to order from the United States, Nella, it's not really worth it for me because usually the shipping kills the deal. And $70 when you convert it over to Canadian these days is like 140 plus shipping plus taxes. So I can probably get it for not far from that here anyway. So saves me some trouble. So William says the great cab cones with Splon's small block speakers made by Eminence. So I'm not familiar. I guess they're just rebranded Eminence speakers. Small block, huh? I don't know what they're supposed to be. Oftentimes Eminence will clone other speakers, so maybe it's a clone of something else. So does the cabinet sound scooped to you, William? Can you describe what kind of tones you get out of it? Profile Production is waiting for a Gibson J200. You guys are making me jealous. Vintage Cool says a Headrush FR Go for me. Wow, that's a nice one too. Wow, you guys are on a rampage this week. Last week was like crickets, and this week everybody's going ballistic with purchasing stuff. Interesting. I guess everybody's getting into the NAMM excitement. NAMM's just around the corner, right? It's going to start in a couple of days, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess everybody's waiting. I usually do the opposite before NAMM. I kind of don't buy anything because I'm waiting for everybody to announce what's coming out. Because, that's when everybody starts teasing the new products. So I don't like to buy stuff ahead of NAMM because then it's like, I blew my budget and then I don't have any money left over for anything else. So it's better to wait. Just wait a few more days. Hang on, just a few more days. We'll talk about NAMM in a little bit too, just to see what's new and what people are announcing. Have you guys seen any companies announcing cool products before NAMM? I've already caught quite a few people dropping some hints that something big is coming. So we'll talk about that. So Kevin says, David, I literally just ordered it, but the reviewers love it. Bluetooth also, so works with Bluetooth headphones. That's always a big feature for me when I buy these type of products as well. I like to be able to use Bluetooth with it. Just makes it a whole lot easier. We're really spoiled today, guys, in terms of how many different ways we can actually play through our gear. Just yesterday I was playing some stuff and, you know, I was playing through an amplifier here. I was playing through a multi-effects. I was using the amp to go through my aux box. I had my multi-effects plugged into my stereo speakers here. Like, there's so many ways you can enjoy listening and playing through your gear today, where in the past it was just basically you had to plug into an amplifier. And now with Bluetooth, it goes even further. So it's like we're really spoiled, but it's a good thing. Shane says, yeah, I flipped the other V and will probably flip this one after a month playing it too. So I guess Shane is just getting a little enjoyment and it's just passing through. Just be careful because sometimes things will stick, Shane. You know what I mean? That's what I always said. It's just passing through and next thing you know, I have like a room full of guitars here. So Steven says, I bought a full set of Hosco nut files for doing the nut in the Hangstrom and Ibanez and a 16-inch fret Maestro crowning tool and a Tusk nut also for the Ibanez. All right. Hey, those Hosco nut files are good. You know, those you buy them once and you're good for life. So that's a good choice. I should buy them. I should also get a set of those eventually as well. I haven't pulled the trigger on them yet. I've been making do with other stuff, but I should just do it. And the Fret Maestro crowning tool is also a good buy. So yeah, slowly you accumulate your tools and you're ready to go. You can get everything set up the way you want it. Very nice. Nice. Paul is here. Hey, Paul. He says, I did not buy the Fozzy Audio V3 mini power amp from my Friedman IRX. A 180 RMS watt for 150 bucks. It won 2 best of awards for amps under $1,000. Waiting on NAMM to decide. Yeah, smart man. I do that too, Paul. Just wait a couple more days. There could be something else coming out. You wouldn't want to miss the boat on it. Shane says, sent you the picture of the V in Instagram, Tony. All right. Thank you, Shane. Take a look. Ah, there she is. Nice looking guitar, dude. There we go, guys. Can you see it? There's Shane's guitar. Very cool. A lot of pointy edges on that thing. Got to be careful with the points. Yeah, it looks metal, man. I think you're going to enjoy it. Just be careful with the points. You can take an eye out with that thing. Kodiak Edge says, just play through a Fender Mustang GTX 50. I can't keep up with you guys. You guys are really going crazy with this stuff. Ian's Guitar Shack has been using a Headrush MX5. Then I got a 2 Notes Captor X. Now I use my Fender Deluxe Reverb so it doesn't sit around and collect dust. I now appreciate using a real amp and my pedals. Exactly. I feel exactly the same way, you know. A lot of people don't realize the advantage of using something like a Captor or an aux box or something like that. But if you like playing through real amplifiers like I do, nothing beats going through something like a Captor or an aux box because you're actually playing the amp and you're not just playing a simulation or a multi-effects. I mean, I enjoy the multi-effects too, but sometimes it's fun to know that, you know, you've spent money on a really good amplifier and you get a chance to use it, and you get to use it at full volume too, you know, so it really makes a huge difference. I highly recommend it if you can. Martin says, sold 2 pedals and bought nothing. But you're getting ready, Martin. I sense it. When somebody says I sold something, it just means some money went into the fund, the emergency gear fund. Tell me if that's not true. So Ken says, I guess I'm off. Ken says the Taylor was $6.99 and the Sire was $8.99. So well below. Oh, because it's Sire. I read Sir on the other one. S-U-R-E, but maybe you just mistyped it. I was wondering why you spelled it that way, because it's not really spelled that way, right? It's S-U-H-R. I thought you just had made a mistake. So yeah, if it was a Sir and the Taylor, I probably wouldn't be far off. But since it's a Sire, it's $8.99. Yeah, a lot cheaper. Makes sense. Time Surfing Alien says, haven't bought anything new, but my son got all his stuff out of the music room, so I've gotten moved back in. What do you mean by all his stuff? Did he have his music stuff in there with yours, or was it just miscellaneous stuff? It's good to have room. Makes sense. Boomerang says, I received an email from Through and collected the free Through Essentials software. Was rapped about that. I'm not sure what that means. The Through stuff I'm not familiar with that much. And David says, I saw a guy using Bluetooth headphones, so that's what I thought. Yeah, makes sense. Very cool. TSA. Presley says TSA. All right, let me scroll all the way down because I'm falling well behind. If you guys don't mind, please give me a thumbs up. There's 30 people here today. 57 eyeballs, and half of you are not happy with what you're seeing, apparently. Don't forget, it's free, so you get what you pay for. William says, oh, almost forgot. Traded my Feasley guitar for a tattoo. Dude hit me up on Marketplace, so I jumped on the deal. What kind of tattoo did you get, William? That's an interesting trade. You should send us a photo of your tattoo so we can let you know if you made a good deal or not. Cushman says, I sold a bunch of stuff as well. And Cool Tune says, I'm still in the selling phase. I'm going to have to start being in the selling phase too soon. I'm running out of room. It's just through necessity. I'm going to have to do something. Steven says, haha, Chatter's Revenge. We will persuade Addicted to Gear to spend his money on gear today, same as he does to us each week. Hey, I've been pretty good lately. Like I said, I'm just saving my money for after NAMM to determine whether or not there's something big. I'm hoping that Marshall's going to come up with something interesting. I know they're coming out with cool new pedals. They've already teased some new pedals. Have you guys seen the pre-announcements? There's I've seen a couple of videos or a couple of screenshots where they have a bunch of pedals that are kind of backlit, so you can't see what they are, but they're coming. I think they're going to be interesting. I think they're going to be cool. So if a few of the ones that I'm expecting to come out, I might be a taker on those. Let's see here. Martin had a good tip for Shane. He says, put tennis balls on the ends. Kind of like what you do with your kids and the edge of the tables, right? You put some tennis balls so they don't hit the edges. It's a good tip, Martin. I like that one. That's cute. And Shane says it's dark purple. Yeah, because it looks kind of almost black in the picture, but it's actually dark purple. That's cool. Nice. Lonesome Lenny. Welcome, Lenny. Says, I gifted myself an Eastman Les Paul style guitar yesterday from my local music store. Hey, that's nice. I'm a fan of those Eastmans. I don't have a Les Paul style, but I have a 335 style Eastman, which I like a lot. I think you're going to be a happy camper with that thing. How much did it cost you, if you don't mind me asking? I haven't tried the Les Paul style Eastmans. Maybe I shouldn't, because I might be tempted. Hey, Peg City Pickups is here. How's it going? Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Hey, I hope you guys are over at Peg City are doing well. Are you guys going to NAMM? I guess maybe not, but maybe you have some interesting new products coming out. Let us know. I'm always looking for new pickups specifically. I was thinking about just that yesterday when I was playing one of my my Telecaster guitars, and the one that I built, the Candy Apple Red Telecaster that you guys probably have seen already, that I built myself. I have some pickups in there already which are good, but they're not bitey enough for me, so I'm kind of thinking about throwing in something a little bit more, just a little bit more bitey, like more of like a Texas special type pickup style, you know. Maybe the good folks over at Peg City could suggest something that would fall into that range, that tone. I'm always open for suggestions. So William says he got a Michael Myers forearm $700 tattoo for a $190 guitar. He offered the deal, but how do you know, William? How did you know the guy's a good tattoo artist? What if you ended up with something and it wasn't that good? Like maybe what if you were his first customer? Well, did it come out okay? Is it okay? Are you happy with it? That's the important thing. Hey, we got 80 people. No, sorry, 60 people here today. Maybe next time we'll have 80, but we have 60 people here. 35 thumbs up. Please give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Otherwise, you'll be missing the follow-up shows that happen every Sunday. Plus, we put out some interesting reviews from time to time whenever I have an opportunity to record something for you guys. So you wouldn't want to miss that. And if I miss your comment or your question, just put it again, because they're going by so quickly that I don't always have time to catch all of them. Boomerang says, my Hosco nut files were purchased from Amazon, Japan. Many times you can buy those Hosco files on StuMac. You can buy them on Amazon. You can sometimes find them on eBay. Well worth the money, I think. And Steven says, I have so many tools for so many disciplines that it's scary and I want more. You know what? When you're doing a job or you're doing some kind of a project and you have the right tool, it just makes it so much easier, you know? And it's not like it's a wasted investment, because when you have the right tools, you'll always find a reason to use them. So I think it's an investment that's well worth it. Let's see here. So Peg City Pickup says, shoot me an email, Tony, you know I'll make it happen. Oh, cool, man. You know, I'm just trying to get a little bit more bite, and especially out of the, you know, sometimes on a Telecaster, you have plenty of bite on the bridge, but sometimes it's a little thin. So what I like is more of a fuller type bitey pickup, but not like overly trebly. And in the you know, in the neck pickup, that's always the one that's harder to nail down, because you want it to still have a little bit of bite, but just a little bit, how can I put it, more mids in the neck. But sometimes it's a little too wishy-washy, if you know what I mean. So it's hard to get the right combo. But I know if anybody can wind a pickup that will fit the bill, would be Peg City. If you guys are not familiar with them, go check them out. Great bunch of guys and awesome pickups all around for any kind of guitar. Charles is here. Charles75. And hey, dude, how's it going? And William says, I looked at his work up first. He's got Instagram. He specializes in horror movie themed tats. And I'm a horror movie aficionado, kind of meant to be. Plus, I know the shop he works at. Well, then it was a calculated thing. That's good. I wouldn't want you to just randomly go to someone that is running a shop out of his garage or something like that. I got something stuck in my throat, guys. 1 second. What I've always liked, and maybe Charles has worked on something like this in the past, I don't know, but But I like the monster movie themed guitar, decals or whatever paint jobs that I've seen on guitars in like the 70s, the actually more of the early 80s, when the big hair metal days were happening. A lot of people, I've seen one like with Frankenstein on it. I've seen one with Bela Lugosi's Vampire, The Mummy, and all that kind of stuff. I always found that to be cool. So I'm wondering, maybe some of you own one like that, or maybe Charles has done a guitar recover like that. I always found that to be cool. Hey, SB says, say hi, it's the same SB, just different channel. I had some issues with previous mail. Sorry for being late. I was watching a movie. Nah, you don't have to apologize for being late, guys. Anybody can pop in whenever. It's all good. So I wanted to talk a little bit about NAMM and what they're announcing. And I don't know if you guys heard the news, but there was a couple of people that were not necessarily going to attend the show. Maybach, unfortunately, announced earlier this week that they weren't going to be attending because of the situations with the wildfires, which is a shame. From what I understand, the actual event is not really in the line of fire where there's actually a risk or a danger. But I understand why people might not want to send employees or whatever there for whatever reason. So that's a shame, because Maybach makes really cool guitars. And I had a fear that somebody was going to start pulling out, and it would maybe start a chain reaction, but it doesn't look like that's the case. There's a lot of people still indicating that they're going. Fender's going to be there. Gibson's going to be there. Marshall's going to be there. So we're going to see some people that we haven't seen there before. And I wanted to actually look at the map with you guys here for a second. Have you guys taken a look at that? Let me see if I can pull that up. It's a huge venue, by the way, guys. Anybody here going to NAMM out of curiosity? Because if you are, I'm jealous. I would like to go to NAMM. Unfortunately, can't go this year, but maybe next. So here it is, guys. This is the floor plan. Check this out. Look how big this thing is. So we can see how many companies are there. And I like to look to see who's going to be in the big booths. I already know who it's going to be, but it's interesting to take a look. So for example, just let it regenerate here. It just takes a second sometimes, but we have the bigger booths here. Hal Leonard, the book company, is there. And if we just zoom in a little bit more here, we can see. So Eastman is right here by the washrooms. So if you're an Eastman fan, that's where you're going to want to hit. Then here we have Korg USA, X-Vive. A lot of these companies like X-Vive and Hotone and all these companies, they have some pretty decent sized booths. So interesting to see that. You can see how many names pop up here. So we have Korg, we have Martin booth right over here, Marshall Group right here, Ernie Ball. Now if you look closer here to the Marshall Group, look who's right across from Marshall. Our own homebrew company, Godin, is right there. Tom Anderson Guitar Works is right there. Seymour Duncan, Sir is right over here. So it's gonna be a really cool show. Donner, like I mentioned, you see, like Donner's got a big booth. These guys are big companies. You know, we think that they're making rinky-dink products sometimes or whatever, but when you look at the size of their booth, it says otherwise, man. These guys are making some money, because those spaces cost a lot of money, man. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I wish I was going maybe next year. I got to really make a point to go to one of these events soon, before they stop even having them. Take it easy, Steven. Enjoy those fret files. Don't hurt yourself. Vinny's World says, Tony, I heard some bands are only there to meet dealers and do nothing, a full showcase / booth. Could be. Everybody's got their own reasons for being there, I'm sure. SB says, PV makes cool guitars. Long time ago, I wanted to buy their limited take on a Strat made in USA. Some of the PV stuff is really nice. Very cool. Very cool. And DMAC had a question here for Peg City. Says, you get through the blizzard okay. We got stuck in Winnipeg with road closures. I went to Long and McQuaid adult daycare for a few hours, so it was okay, he says. There's always situations with snow. They'll get through it okay. They're tough. And Shane said a couple of years ago, I saw a LTD Eclipse with a Dracula character on it. Yeah, that's cool. I'd like to get one of those eventually, just for fun. Or maybe just make my own. SB almost bought a Godin HSS session model name. Godin makes cool stuff. Speaking of Godin, they do make good, cool stuff, and I'm a little ashamed to say that I haven't ever owned a Godin guitar. I should. You know, I should support the local companies. Eventually, I probably will. Maybe they'll come up with something cool this year at NAMM. I'll take a look. Searching for Tone says we might get Snow Tuesday. They don't know what that is here. We know what that is here. Let me jump into a couple of topics. First of all, there is a poll question out today. Let's do the poll right now since we've got time. And thank you to all the 63 people watching here today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel while you're here. Just a little reminder. So let's look at the poll questions for those of you that are new here. We usually do a poll question weekly. We try anyways. And you can find that on the Addicted to Gear YouTube channel in the community section. And I like putting out polls just to see what the consensus is as a whole in terms of what you guys are into or looking for. And this week's question was, what's your go-to bridge type that you normally gravitate towards in a guitar? So a lot of you might have your favorite type, one that you find most comfortable, for example. And you know, like in this guitar we have a typical, I call these Strat style guitar bridges because, you know, it's a 6-saddle bridge. They come in various designs, but they're generally all pretty much the same in terms of how they work. This is not like a Floyd type bridge or a Tunomatic type bridge. So quite different than what you would get on a Telecaster or something like that. So we had 170 votes, and out of the 4 possible answers, we got a few different ones. So 43% of you said that the Tunomatic Gibson style bridge is your go-to. That's quite a few of you guys. Now the Tunomatic bridge is the split system. You guys know what it looks like. You have the bridge and the tailpiece separated from each other, so it goes through the tailpiece first, then goes over the bridge. Those are often seen on the Gibson style guitars. I don't necessarily find them to be the most comfortable or the most versatile either, but a lot of people do like them. And apparently either all of you own Gibson guitars. There's not a lot of choices when it comes to Gibson style guitars, but there are companies that are coming out with hybrid versions of these bridges, like PRS, for example, where they have the wraparound all-in-one type bridge that replaces a Tunomatic style bridge. If you guys know what I'm talking about, they're often seen on the PRS guitars. I didn't include that one in our little poll question today because they're not as common maybe, but there's interesting developments there. Now 43% of you like the Tunomatics, 33% of you like the Fender 6 saddle Strat style bridge. I thought it would be the opposite because the 6 saddle bridges like this one are way more comfortable in my opinion, especially the more modern ones. The more vintage Strat style bridges were made of bent metal, and sometimes they'd feel a little rough under the palm of your hand. The edges would be sharp, and sometimes you had to like sand them down to be comfortable. But the new ones, like this one, are extremely comfortable, easy to set up, and are quite stable in terms of tuning. So I'm not surprised that 33% of you like those. I would say I like those as well. Only 16% of you like the Floyd Rose. And the Floyd Rose systems are hit or miss, you know, like you have to buy a really good one to be able to have something that is not going to be a pain. Because the Floyd Rose systems are always a little bit more finicky. You have to kind of, you know, mess around with them quite a bit to get them to stay in tune. And people think, well, you know, if I have a Floyd, I'm never going to have to tune again, which is not true. Anybody that has a Floyd Rose system, you know that's not true. It requires a lot of finicking and fandangling, and you have to loosen the nuts here. Every once in a while, you have to retune and lock it down again. So, you know, not the easiest type of bridge to have on a guitar. The Telecaster 3 saddle style guitar only got 8%, which is surprising because although it's quite a crude type of bridge, and you know it's pretty basic, right? You know, it hasn't really changed all that much since the early days, and it's not necessarily the easiest to tweak and to get right. But once it's set, you kind of set it and forget it. So I'm actually surprised only 8% of you prefer that type of bridge. There was a few comments. I'll read those real quick. So someone here says, I gotta have some kind of trem to Lifeson/Mar/Surf. But got a Telecaster last year and fell in love with that fixed bridge, 3 brass Goto saddles and string through body. So there you have somebody that actually enjoys the Telecaster style bridge. I like the Telecaster style bridges because they're kind of like, they're easy. You know, there's no-brainers. So somebody here says, for an LP special or junior style guitar, I want a wraparound bridge. A Tunomatic and stop tail don't look right on those guitars. For a Telecaster, I like the compensated 3-barrel style type. I don't have a hardtail Strat, but I would like to have one. I'm just a recreational player, so I don't have to have the perfect intonation that's needed in a studio recording situation. If I were a pro, my preference would probably be different than they are now. So that makes a lot of sense. And I agree with that in a general sense. Very cool. Somebody else here says, went Fender, but don't use the wiggle stick all that much. And Mississippi Blues says, all of them except Floyd Rose. Just depends what guitar it is. And I do agree with that comment that some bridges just don't look right on certain guitars. You know, you don't want to necessarily put something like a Vega Trem on a vintage guitar. It's going to stand out like a sore thumb. Although the Vega Trems are really nice systems. SB says that guy, Schrodinger or whatever, however is that company name is Schroeder. I can't read your comment. I can't even. He says something like that. He's like rip off of that PRS one-piece bridge, also 2-in-1. Not sure what you're referring to there, SB. Maybe you can clarify a little bit more. Not really sure. The Blues Rocker says, an ABR1 is my favorite bridge. Like to be able to raise the action for slide, and that works great for that. The ABRs are good. I like them too on Gibson style guitars. And William says, those Sophia bridges look interesting. Spendy though, whatever happened to the old Kahler bridges? At one point it was almost like Floyd and Kahler were like neck and neck And then all of a sudden, Kahler kind of disappeared. It's funny because in the early days, Fender also adopted Kahler instead of Floyd. If you wanted a Fender guitar with a Floyd Rose, they wouldn't do it. They didn't exist, but they had Kahlers on some of their Fenders for a while. And I think then after that, they came out with their own Fender branded Kahler version, and then they kind of disappeared. So I don't know. Okay, so let's just jump into a couple of topics here. First of all, I wanted to say that there's a lot of interesting new products coming out. We mentioned last week or the week before that Behringer was coming out with a few kind of clone pedals, like outright clone pedals that look interesting, and a lot of people want to get, including myself, when they actually come out. And they should be out soon because I think they're going to be released after NAMM. So hopefully I'll be able to get one relatively soon. But I did notice that Donner is also coming out with its Embark series, which is still ultra cheap in terms of pedals. They're like $29 pedals, but they have metal enclosures and customizable designs. They look interesting, and they're often available on Amazon. So, they're not necessarily boutique in any way, but lately they've been coming out with some really nice stuff. I've been very impressed with the stuff that Donner has been coming out with, and hopefully I'll be able to get some to review here. So apparently this Embark series is aimed at players that are taking their first step into stompbox territory. So basically, you don't want to spend a lot of money. You might not have a big budget, but they're still offering like a full range of effects. And for $29, you can't go wrong, right? It's basically like a little bit more, like maybe double the cost of a set of strings, something like that, if you get decent strings. So I don't know how good they're going to be, but they're kind of doing the same thing as GHS was doing, where it's like, kind of white label, like a plain Jane cover. They're not spending a lot of money on the design. They're just basically making them all look the same. But apparently they're going to be coming out with a whole series. So it's going to be echo, delay, distortion, phase, analog chorus, and overdrive or octave. So if you're interested in getting the whole set at $29, you can basically get all of them for, $3, $6, $79, $10, like under $200, really. The question always remains whether or not they sound good. So I'm gonna see if I could actually get my hands on some of those and review them on my channel for you guys. I'm curious. If you can get a good deal, I'm always for getting something for cheap. Farid said, Tony, I have a HSS guitar that makes a static pop noise when you touch each fret. As you run your hand along the neck, touching the bridge makes no difference. Bad earth or shielding, that sounds like the case. Yeah, it probably is the case. Start off by looking at your jack. Maybe get a different jack, change jack, just to see if that makes a difference before you go crazy. If not, I would make sure the guitar is grounded, that the little ground wire that's sometimes found on the back of your, here, when you pop off this plate, it's usually by the claw. There's a little wire that usually is connected to that if it's a Strat. Just make sure it's connected and grounded properly, and that should resolve the issue. But sometimes it's just, cheap cables will sometimes do that too. Presley says, I really want a Bigsby replica custom. Sounds like a good project. Do any of you guys have any guitar projects lined up? Maybe you're building your own or you're customizing your own. I definitely want to have a couple of projects that I'm going to be jumping on shortly. I always like to have a couple of projects lined up. Nella says, ever see that solid body Bigsby guitar made in the 40s? Looks like Leo ripped off or borrowed the design for his guitars. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. There's a lot of them. Time Surfing Alien says, about to change the tom and tailpiece on my FF338 to a Geiker roller bridge and trem tailpiece. I've been meaning to try out some of those Geiker some of the Geiker hardware. They make bridges, tailpieces, they make tuners, they make all kinds of stuff, and I haven't had the opportunity to try them out, but I'd like to. They look cool. They have really some really nice finishes and colors and stuff like that. Not the typical just chrome and black, and they have a range of really cool colors if you want to really bling your guitar. That's always something cool to try out. David says he's planning on building a P90 Strat. Hey, that's cool. You don't always see that. That's a new way, something I haven't tried. A P90 Strat. That's cool, man. I gotta say, I haven't had too much time for build projects lately, and some of my guitars require some work, so you'll probably end up seeing a few more of those My Messy Workbench videos pop up on my channel soon. And I've been considering trying to wind my own pickups. Not that it's going to be worthwhile in the sense that, you have to buy a lot of gear to be able to do that. So if you just, build one set of pickups, it's not really worth it. But the thing is, I changed so many pickups on my guitars that it might be a fun project to start to get a little bit more into winding my own pickups and just seeing if I can actually do it, see what it sounds like. It might sound terrible. A lot of people think they can do, sometimes you see a painting or an abstract painting, you're like, I can do that, throw some paint on a canvas, then you try and do it and it's like, no, it requires more attention than that. But I'd like to learn more, so that's maybe something that I might try in the near future. Boomerang says, I was looking for a decent 1990s Ibanez i540R, so I'm building one in an HH configuration. That's always going to be cool. I think you can't go wrong working on those early Ibanez guitars. They're quite friendly when it comes to modding. Paul says the Kahler springs can be garbage in as little as 3 months and nothing but the Kahler work in the bridge. The thing that I never really liked about Kahler bridges is that you have to route out your guitar for them. And it's quite a big hole in the guitar. So I never really liked the idea of having, because you can't change it for anything else otherwise, So that's the reason why I never got into Kahler. At least the Floyds are a little bit less messy when it comes to having to route your guitar. Presley says that's exactly what happened with Fender and Bigsby. Leo actually borrowed an early Bigsby custom and had it for a week, blueprinting it. Then he developed his modular Telecaster from the Bigsby custom. So yeah, it's something I didn't know. Interesting. All right. See, that's why I like hanging out with you guys. You bring a lot to the table. And Music and Gear says, Tony, reach out to Geiker. They've been reaching out to channels for demos and reviews lately. Yeah, I might just do that. I might do that. I just don't have anything in mind right now that I'd like to check out in regards to hardware. So I'll think about that first. The Blues Rocker says, have you ever tried Old English for dark wood on your rosewood fretboards? How works great and doesn't darken inlays, but keeps it off the fret wire or cleans them when done. What do you mean Old English? Like you mean directly on the wood? So Old English is basically lemon oil, I think. Or something that is supposed to be made to simulate lemon oil. I'm not sure about Old English. They call it furniture moisturizer. Let me see what's in Old English here. Let me check out the label. I'm not sure if Old English would be something that you got to be careful. First of all, there was a recall here in Canada for Old English lemon oil because there was a lack of required hazard labeling on it. So let's see here. What does the label say? Let me see if I could blow up this picture here. I can't really read it. It's kind of too small. Can I zoom in? Yeah, it's kind of too small. But you read the label, guys. Honestly, if you want to put something on your fretboard to hydrate it, the cheapest thing is mineral oil. And you can get this at a pharmacy. You can even drink this stuff. It's not going to kill you. In mineral oil, people use that as a laxative if you drink it, right? But a lot of people will also use it to hydrate their chopping blocks. Like if you have a chef and they have these big wooden chopping blocks, mineral oil is safe because you can actually, it's edible. You know, there's nothing toxic in it. So if you want to be safe and not have anything harmful on your fretboards, I would say mineral oil would be probably the best thing to use. If you want to go further and maybe protect using wax and oil, I use this, what's it called? I forget what it's called now, but I swear by this stuff. It's a oil and wax in one. The name escapes me right now, but I've done videos where I show this stuff in the past, and it works great. I use this for like any kind of unfinished wood. It really works really great on teak, on different types of wood. If you're using it on rosewood, it works great as well. And it's amazing, but it is not great because there is stuff in it that is a little bit, can be bad for you. Howard's. Thank you, William. William saved the day. Howard's is the brand. If you guys are not familiar with it, check it out. I buy this on Amazon, and they have a lot of different products, but this stuff for me outshines a lot of other things. I'll show you a picture of it if you guys want to see it. Here, I'll share it with you guys. This stuff. It's called Feed and Wax. Do you guys know this? Anyways, great stuff. You can see here they've put it on a hammer just to show the difference, but it really does the job. It's got 37,000 reviews and it gets a 4.6 on Amazon. And basically, it's very, very useful in many different ways, and you can actually go and use this on your tables, on your guitar, fretboards, on many different things, and it oils and wax at the same time, and it dries really fast. A little dab will go a long way. So a bottle costs about $20, but honestly, I've had a bottle and it's lasted me for years, you know, and I even put this on my tables and stuff like that. Works really, really great. So the Blues Rocker says mineral oil is primarily a lubricant, not a wood treatment, so it might not properly nourish the wood fibers of a fretboard. You know, I've been using it, and it's worked for me. I don't really see a reason to go and buy anything more expensive than that. It generally works quite well. There may be something that absorbs better, you know, but I just wipe it on just a little bit and wipe it right off, and it seems like it works really well for me. If any of you have a better suggestion, let me know. Johnny Guitar 57 says, I have a bottle now, use it all the time, lasts very long. Yeah, a lot of the other stuff, like the lemon oil stuff that they say is lemon oil, is not actually lemon oil. It's just there's some chemicals and stuff, and they just put some kind of scent and some kind of coloring in it to make it smell and look like oil, but it's not oil. So just be careful. Read the bottle. You might be surprised what you're actually buying there. So Johnny Guitar 57 says, Tony, last week I told you that the Marshall's ST20C Studio GTM finally used it. Wow, it's awesome. Sounds great. I added the JHS little black amp box pedal, being the amp has no master volume put in the loop. And you like it? I'm glad to hear that, Johnny, man. I was eyeing that one before I actually got the Studio Vintage. But that one seems like a really cool amplifier, especially if you want to get into the early sounds, you know. And put a pedal in front of there and you're in business. A pedal and maybe a reverb pedal, like a little overdrive and reverb, and you're in business. The fact that it has no master volume is not necessarily a bad thing. And if ever you're stuck and you really want to get full pleasure out of that amplifier, just get yourself an aux box. Plug through that and you're going to be in heaven. I'm telling you. Nella says, Guitar Shack only boiled linseed oil. It can get gummy over time, so there are better products out there for a fingerboard. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily use linseed oil. Yeah, hydration, David. That's what we're talking. You can go and buy these products that are sold by different companies specifically for hydrating your guitar. Fretboard, generally they're kind of some kind of lemon oil or something like that. But there's other alternatives. Johnny also says, I have a JHS after the delay and reverb, perfect in the loop. Yeah, and those amplifiers are so flexible. They're really great. Mississippi Blue says, I use Monte Presso Relic Wax. Well, that's a wax though, Mississippi Blues. That's not necessarily for hydration. You know, that's more for like darkening the fretboard. So you're not really hydrating it. You are protecting it with the wax though. But generally what you want to do is hydrate it, then maybe apply some light wax to protect it. Okay, guys, listen, we've been on for about an hour, so I think we're going to end it here today. I appreciate you guys tuning in for the show, 63 of you, and if you're on the way out and you want to leave a thumbs up, please do. I appreciate all the feedback, and I'm looking forward to next Sunday's show, where I'm sure we're going to have a lot of interesting new products to talk about, specifically since NAMM is around the corner, and I'm excited. It's like Christmas for me. And I might have some interesting new products to share with you at that stage as well. So if you like what we do here on Addicted to Gear on Sunday and you like being part of the conversation, then please mark it on your calendar. We're generally here every Sunday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. And, this is what we do. We basically recap what we do during the week. If we've announced products or done product reviews, or if anything has popped up in the news feeds. Basically, we end up doing a recap of all of that. Plus, you get a chance to answer your questions and share some information. So why not mark it on your calendar if you're a guitar nut like the rest of us are right here. So, and it does go by fast. I agree with you. Unfortunately, when you're having fun, time flies. But it's already been an hour, so we're going to have to end it this week. Maybe next week I'll stick around a little longer because I'm sure we're going to have a lot more to talk about. So take care, guys. Enjoy yourself. If you do end up going to the NAMM show, please, make yourself some notes, some stuff that we want to talk about maybe next week. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of interesting things. So keep your eye out and don't spend too much money if you end up going to one of those shows. I'll talk to you guys next week. Rock on, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll see each other then. Take care, guys.